staring at this phone for the past 10 minutes waiting for 8:15. There's nothing worse than waiting for an appointment to happen. What's up? Welcome to All Things Female. I'm your host, The Fury of Abyss. How y'all doing? How was your week? I'm gonna do a mic check real quick so I can test the volume. How was your week this week? I gotta tell you something. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something crazy that happened. And this is why you gotta stand on what you know and not always get caught up in what you see. Okay. So tell me why I'm minding my business and my kid brings me the mail. My nerves, like, cannot take in the mail. I don't know how long you've been with me, but I have bipolar 2. I don't leave the house unless I have to. I don't go out. I don't socialize. I don't have personal relationships. All I do is stay home and work on healing my body, my mind from trauma, childhood trauma. That's what my whole life is based around. I'm a recovering addict. I was an addict for 20 years. Same amount of time I was married. Not married anymore. Been divorced a year. My ex-husband is dead from an overdose. And now all I do is work on healing the relationships in my family because I lost custody of my kids for 8 years. I've had them back for 6. And it takes a lot of effort and a lot of needing to get new information to integrate a broken family. So now, because I got brought back from addiction, a toxic relationship, a lot of stuff, being insecure, self sabotaging, not going for my goals, being an absent mind. Since I've come out of all of that, I feel a need to tell my story to others. So that's what I'm here for. But yeah, so I was sitting here minding my business. So I said all that to say that's why I don't really like I don't answer my door, I don't check the mail, none of that. I have a very strict routine. I do the same thing at the same times every day. I clean my house 3 times a day. I get in the shower 3 times a day. I'm always in a constant state of prayer because everything is a trigger. Everything is overwhelming. I get overwhelmed by people's energy. I can hear people's thoughts. I can see entities in people and in places. So I like to stay in the house. It's not so much that I get scared by these things, but I get overwhelmed by them. But some things are scary, of course, obviously. Just like how some people seem scarier than others, entities are the same way. um Smells, things being out of order. So if I'm like in an area where there's like a bunch of trash and stuff, I just get overstimulated, overwhelmed, and I can have manic episodes, all types of stuff like that. So it's a mix of what's going on with my body chemically and how it deals with dopamine and all of that, and having a mood disorder, but also having spiritual gifts. Mix that all together, and it leads me to not want to leave my house unless I'm in nature, honestly, because it just gets to be too much. The light, the sounds, the smells, the energy I'm picking up off of people, what I see, what I hear, it's just too much. I'd rather just stay home and work on strengthening myself. You know how empaths would be like, I soak up everybody's energy, blah, 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 blah. I used to be like that. And it took me years to learn how to shield myself, but it's very hard to do that, especially when you have people around you. You can call them energy vampires, narcissists, whatever, that drink your energy. Like they just soak up your energy. It could be a kid, it could be an animal, it could be a person, it could be doing it on purpose, it could be by accident, it just could be their nature. But some people really suck your energy and it's just overwhelming. And you have to learn how to shield yourself from these things. And I use prayer, my relationship with my higher power. I always be tapping into the Holy Spirit, my ancestors, all of that. All the things that I was raised to believe in, I hold on to them things. You know what I mean? Like, I had to find my own relationship with spirit and God and define it for myself. And I always worried about how I was going to introduce God to my kids because I didn't want to give them the wrong information. Because so many people just regurgitate what they were told, but they don't really invest time in having a personal relationship with their higher power. So they don't really know who God is. And then those are the same people who want to like argue about it. I don't want to argue about it. I know what feels right. And what feels right is doing good, helping people, and learning. So that's what I do. I just try to advance myself and learn. And that's what my whole life is about. Hey, Felix. So that's what I do. Okay. So I said all of that to preface why I do not answer my door, get my mail, none of that. So the kids came in and they gave me a letter. And it's a letter from the Department of Social Services telling me that they were going to take my food stamps. Like, for no reason. Like, no more food stamps. Okay, cool. So I'm like, I didn't even react. Normally, I would panic. But see, I've been doing my shadow work, which is just a fancy word for inner work. Okay. Coping skills, how to respond to triggers and not react and go off on a spiral and fall into a depression or go into a manic episode. Because when you are bipolar, you have a mood disorder, you have a chemical imbalance, and any change in my routine, my environment, my diet can send me into a spiral. But I've been doing the work, I've been doing the coping skills. And besides that, on the spiritual side, I understand that I'm never going to be put in a position I can't get out of. God always makes a way out. So I always do what I have to do. My logical mind kicked in instead of my emotional one and said, this has to be a mistake. I'll take care of it on Monday. Cool. Next day, kid comes up, brings me the mail, open it up. Boom. Your food stamps have been reinstated. Blah, blah, blah. We giving you an extra $100. See what I'm talking about? Like I said, it was just a mistake. So I've been learning how to be more logical than emotional because I really have to think myself through my emotional disorder. Like I really have to think myself with like I can't let my emotions rule me. And that's very, very challenging. Considering I'm a freaking Scorpio with Pisces placements. Stevenson, just the person. Hi. So that was one thing that happened this week. So, okay. So as far as my goals, I set two of them last week. One was to read out of the three books we're working on. We got the Mastery book, the Sister Soldier book, and that book called Unscripted. Didn't do any of that. But what I did do was work on the book. I definitely did that. I spent this week doing a lot of working on my recipes. I've been developing these vegan recipes. And before I shoot video about anything that I've developed, I've done that recipe over and over again. I think I made about 50 waffles trying to come up with that vegan waffle recipe. And it's perfect now. Like, it is perfect. No eggs, no dairy, Belgian waffles, thick like this. No extra additives. It's just salt, flour, baking soda, and baking powder. A little bit of agave nectar. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. But I whole ass made that shit like 50 times. Then this week I developed my vegan brownie recipe. Again, no eggs, no dairy. Absolutely perfect. About this thick. And it was just, it's not crumbly. It was chocolatey. And just, oh, God, it was perfect. It was perfect. I do not recommend eating waffles every single day for a month, but that's what I did. My inner child been happy as shit this week. Did I say your night, Stevenson? I think I did say it right. Hold on 1 second. How loud? Oh, okay, cool. So how was your week? So tonight I've got agave nectar, cinnamon, and lemon, and hot water. It's for my throat. I'm really excited. I'm supposed to be in the studio. What is it? August, September. So I think like October. Very, very excited. Really miss working with my producer. Judah is still working on the lyric video for my last release. Some other things I did. I let my website go just because I was spending so much money on it. And I feel like it was just unnecessary. So I let it go so that I can put that money elsewhere. So, and which is the studio. I was primarily using that website for the blog space. But now that I'm transitioning into writing more, which is also what I wanted to talk to you about, I can just use Instead of spending money to post a blog every month, I can use that time to work on the books that I'm supposed to be working on. So we're going into Virgo season, okay? And they like to work. And honestly, I've been feeling more and more driven because for a while there, I was feeling very slow, very uninspired, very down. Um, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life outside of being a mom. I know I have the music. I know I write now and then. I know I have my routines for my mental health. That's taken care of. The kids are settled because the last few years, like I said, I've had to integrate them back from being kids that lived in the inner city of Baltimore, coming out to a mountain town, dealing with their parents' divorce, not living with their mom for 8 years, leaving their friends, going to a new school, then getting homeschooled, and all the personal interfamily issues that we had to deal with. Just it was a lot. So now that they're settled, we've been through the therapy, everybody's got their own little side hustle, their own jobs. Two of them have graduated. I only got one more that has 2 more years. She's in homeschool. She's got her little friend group, and everybody is transitioned, and everybody has their own separate little life. And I had a scare where I thought my son was going to move out. And I call it a scare now because I thought that I wanted him to move out until he actually said he was going to move out. And then I'm like, oh my God, have I taught him everything he needs to know? Is he going to remember to turn the stove off? Is he going to remember to lock the door? Because he don't do it here. So I'm like, oh my God. And then it really had me thinking, I don't want to admit that it threw me into a depression because I don't feel like it can be classified as a depression if I just got down for like a few days. I don't really, compared to the years of depression that I dealt with before, not being able to come out of my room and get out of the off of the couch, it wasn't a depression. It just had me really thinking, what is my life when it's not child centered? What am I going to do if they all move out? Then what? You know what I mean? You spend most of your time taking care of them, cleaning the house so that it's perfect. I have this obsession with cleaning my house because it's like the only way I can get my mind clear. Working out, painting, making music are ways that I can express myself and get my emotions out. But as far as like hearing spirit talk to me or be guided, I get that when I'm cleaning and I get it when I'm in the shower. And I have an obsession with everything just being in order. It gives me peace. It represents peace to me in abundance. I don't feel like you can be abundant in a place that's just disorganized. And so I spend so much time controlling that because it's like the only thing I can control. Because sometimes I feel so bogged down by the world, not just by what's happened to me in my past, the damn flashbacks of my trauma that I get randomly to the point where I couldn't even drive anymore. I had to give up my car because you're driving on the highway and boom, you get a flashback of some freaking trauma that you've experienced, and you're like freaking out and blacked out, but you're driving, you got your kids in the car. Like trauma is very real. It's just wild to me. It's wild to me. And that's why I'm always careful how I treat people because you never know what somebody has been through. People are walking around really fucked up, like literally messed up, like high, and also messed up in the mind and in the heart from their trauma because it just hasn't been dealt with. And then you keep breeding, having kids that have undealt with trauma. And then we just have a whole generation of people that are so screwed up. And then they're in like power positions and they're like doing weird shit to people because they're so messed up in the head because somebody mama, somebody daddy couldn't get it together to help these kids deal with this trauma. And in order to get them to deal with it, you got to deal with it yourself. But honey, I had to get help. Okay. When I first got my kids back, they got case managers, they got therapists, everybody, and it was non-negotiable. And I used to be a monster. I thought that I had to be heavy-handed with them. I thought I had to be forceful because I used to sit at the end of my bed. My kids are bigger than me. They've been bigger than me since they were like 13. And I'm sitting there like, what am I going to do on the day where they realize they don't actually have to listen to me? When I say go take out the trash and they like, I'll do it later. What are you gonna do? And it made me overbear. And I had to learn. And I'm talking about I had to go to therapy. I had to take classes on communication. I had to read books. I had to engage in independent study. So that I learned how to be a more patient, present parent because you are dealing with kids where they got a smart mouth, but they got soft minds when it comes to this. They got soft emotions, like they're very fragile when it comes to shit. And it's like, oh, tighten up. Now, like to a certain extent, you can tighten up with cleaning your room, but like emotionally, traumatized kids are very, very fragile. And I didn't realize the damage I was doing to them by, why you ain't cleaning your room? Why are you talking to me like that? I told you this a million times. Like that energy was crazy. And I had to spend all of my time changing myself because I realized I was really, 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 really damaging my kids. And that took time and that took effort and it took training. And there's no other time for anything else. And to sacrifice hanging out, partying, having relationships. Like I don't care. Put it in the fire, burn it. I don't care about nothing but their development. It does nothing else matters. You know, they weren't asked to be here and they've been through horrific things. And it's pretty much me and their dad's fault because you're supposed to protect your kids. So now I'm just trying to make everything better. And I can't do that without fixing my demons first and then showing them how to do it. I found out that I didn't have to be forceful with them and keep telling them to do stuff. I just had to repeatedly do it myself consistently, and then they would mimic my behavior. I realized just like little baby ducks that be following their mama around, they do everything I do. And what's crazy with teenagers is they're cracking on you about some shit, then they turn right back around a month later and be doing it. And then they be bragging to their siblings about it like they wasn't cracking on you about it 6 weeks earlier. What? Then they acting like it was their idea. You are not cool. You were just telling me that I was a cornball for doing what I'm doing. Now you doing it and flexing. Teenagers are the worst. And they think they so cool. They're not cool. Let me tell you what, you couldn't pay me to be a teenager again. I'm so happy to be old. I'm so stuck in my ways, being here drinking tea, eating soup. Like, no, I be telling them, don't sit on my bed. Like, all of that, all of that. Like, I'm so irky and I love it. I love it. I love being old. You know, I never wanted my marriage to fall apart. I didn't want my ex husband to be dead, but he is, and it did. And now I have these kids and I'm on my own and I'm making it work and I have to make myself happy and I have to heal myself. But and like people love to come for single moms, but there are benefits to being able to run my house the way I want to run it. Because my ex-husband and I always bumped heads about how to raise these kids. He was so pessimistic and disrespectful to God, knew of God, didn't want to instill respect for God in his kids. Very disrespectful. My ex-husband was exactly like Eminem in real life. For real. And it's not cute and it's not funny. Hi, baseball. Hi, calendar. Hi, Sophia. Hi, African Village. Thank you. I appreciate you. All praise to the Most High. I appreciate you so much. So, anyway, so self development. That's what I've been doing. Working with these daggone kids. But I'm happy with where they're at. I'm happy with the work that we've been doing. So what else I've been doing is learning how to grow plants. I have a turtle, a box turtle. His name is Birdie. He is so cute. He's a rescue. I don't know how I end up with these damn animals, girl. But he eats tomatoes. He eats like bugs, all kinds of stuff. But like this week he had tomatoes. So I took the seeds and I germinated them. Because my major goal one day is to have farmland, my own land, okay, with an independent water source and good soil. And I'm going to be a herbalist and I'm going to be able to use herbs and roots to heal people because that's what I'm good at. I'm good at helping people heal. And that's with the book that I've been reading, the Mastery book by Robert Greene. That's why I'm reading it because I needed to find out how can I get from I was broken, put my life back together, had to take time to process my emotions. Now, how do I get from healing thing to my goals, to actually accomplishing them? How do I give myself that drive? Where do I get the momentum from? How do I do it? Because I felt so worn out. But something that I read in that mastery book was when you become complacent, a part of you dies, a part of you decays. And I'm like, that's some real shit because whenever I'm not working on my book or I'm not working on music or I'm not working out, I don't feel good. I don't feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. And it's like, why am I here? And then it just begins a spiral of negativity that ends in depression. And for me, depression is a dark hole, a well, the darkest well on earth. There is no ladder to bring you out, there is no rope long enough. And the longer I allow myself to sit in sadness, the farther down the well I fall. There is no coming back from the bottom of that. So I have to use the skills that I've learned to stay balanced. Something I've learned with the work that I've been doing on myself lately is that I can't take my mental health as a joke. Just like how we can't take spirituality as a joke and you can't be just anywhere doing just anything with just anybody because that's some real shit. Like people's energy and what they may or may not be, because everything walking around looking human is not human. I'm sorry. Even some of these animals, you think that's a cat. Okay. You know, you really need to be careful with how you treat plants, trees, people. You don't know what these things are. And there are energetic and spiritual consequences to how you treat these things. You gotta be careful out here, real careful. And a message that I gave to myself was my future self wants you to be more careful. Be more careful with the things that you say. Be more careful with how you treat these kids. Be more careful with how you move when you go outside. Be more careful with your mental health. Be more careful with how you eat. Be more careful with when you buy clothes, the type of material that it's made with. My future version, because I think this way now, I watched a TED Talks and it was like, write a letter to yourself as your future version later on, like 25 years from now. Let that version of you write a letter to yourself. What would you say? So now I think that way. When I lay down at night, and I've been working on my nighttime routine as well. When I lay down at night and I'm processing my day and I'm thinking about the future, that's what I do. And I think to myself, the actualized version of me, what advice would I give myself? What would I demand of me so that I can get back to that point? I think of that because you know how they say time is not linear. And it took me so long to learn about like quantum physics and what that even meant and like how time worked because I couldn't understand it. And it's very hard to understand, but it's like it's almost as if the future version of me exists right now already and it counsels me through my present. And I have to compartmentalize my energy like this because I don't have a mom or dad or aunt or cousin or a community to help me. I have my therapist and my kids who I'm responsible for. So I have to manage myself. You know, I have to guide myself and make sure that I'm on the right path because energetically, I just want to lay it down and I just want to give up because I feel so overwhelmed by the state of the world, the state of the finances, understanding how I really don't have any power. Understanding that if my landlord decides she don't feel like having me here, she can ask me to leave. And because my credit score is low and I have an eviction from 10 years ago, I may not be able to get housing anywhere. That is scary. The weight of the world cannot be felt by me anymore. I had to learn how to process not just what I'm going through, but not feeding into the fear matrix too much, lest I manifest what I don't want to happen. And that takes a lot for a mind like mine because my mind is always going. That's why I've always been an insomniac until I went to this Christian rock concert and I started sleeping. Something about high frequency music or large groups of people that pray or have the same intention is very healing. Like on a cellular level, there's a lot of studies about that. After that, I stopped being an insomniac. So, but it's still, I have to go through this whole process to go to sleep because my mind is always processing. So it's very hard for me not to obsess and worry about things. It's very challenging for me. I have to it's almost like I'm still in recovery, honestly. I run my house just like the recovery center. When we were there, we had to clean 3 times a day. I still clean my house 3 times a day. And I don't go to AA meetings like I did then, but I still have my own little personal times where I spend time with spirit. I get my mind together. I have books that help give me new information to keep myself positive, to keep myself processing my emotions. Not just keep yourself positive because you're not always going to be in a positive state of mind. I try to stay generally positive because at the end of the day, I still know that God got me. I watched this YouTube video. It's this Jewish guy. He was explaining how when children grow up in the Jewish community, their parents encourage them to grow, um, to dream big when it comes to business. And the reason why they're so willing to take risks in business is because they are taught that God will always um, cushion them if they fail. And this is taught to them. So when I saw that YouTube video, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I realized that I can adopt the same state of mind. No matter what, I will be cushioned. I'm good. And that's why I didn't freak out when I got that letter about the food stamps. I knew it was a mistake. That's why it was easier for me to click into my logical mind. Because I'm like, I'm not living my life in a wrong way. So I feel like I'm covered. It's like I've done so much to do the right thing. When we were in recovery, they were like, if you just stop doing drugs, literally everything in your life will go right. And that's the truth. It came down to you can have whatever you want in the world. All you have to do is give up synthetic drugs, liquor, and toxic penis. And you can be happy. You know, I feel like I'm in a spiritual game. Like God will protect you if you just do what you're supposed to do. I knew that it was a mistake and I knew I could be logical, but it's almost like if you want to be covered, you just gotta move a certain way. I keep getting tested. I keep getting tested. Every time I double down on how much I believe in spirit and I believe in what I'm here for, I get tested on that. That's why I watch what I say now. Because as soon as you say something, universe gonna test you. That's why I don't ask for nothing either. Because honestly, I can't see the big picture like God does. So I'm not gonna act like I know what's best for me. I ain't asking for nothing. Because goodness forbid I get it. Because sometimes you ask for stuff and you think it's what you want, then you get it, and it's like, yo, this is not it. So I just stop asking for anything and just know that I'm gonna get where I want to be because I'm not gonna give up moving towards it and just be grateful for what I have and maintain the hell out of it. That's another reason why I clean the hell out of my house because I didn't always have a home. And I'm so grateful to be here. I want God to see that I appreciate what I have because I believe that you're not gonna be given more that you can maintain unless you maintain what you already have. And so it's like me just being grateful to God. I feel like keeping a dirty house for me, this is not for anybody else, is disrespectful to God just because I didn't have anything. And I look around and I'm so glad just to have clean clothes and food and running water. Like I've never been so grateful in my life. And I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm so much further than where I was, yo, because I had nothing. I had everything in the world, 6 bedroom house, 3 cars, husband, money in the bank. But I didn't have my freedom. I didn't have a voice and I was on drugs and I didn't have a close connection with God. I had to give away my toxic ex-husband who didn't want to let go of the streets, didn't want to let go of the drugs, and didn't want a relationship with God. I had to let go of that. I had to let go of the drugs and the alcohol and my toxic way of thinking. Like I had to cut off everybody I've ever known, yo, just to really accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish because I feel like I'm called to do something more with my life than what I was doing. I wasted so much time. I noticed that when I speak, people listen. I noticed that I have a giving nature. I enjoy giving. I'm good at it. I'm good at cleaning up and taking care of people. I have a CNA license, never used it. I'm gonna catch a charge. I saw when I was in my clinicals how them people treated them old people in them homes, and I wasn't gonna stand for it. I mean, shoveling food down there at the road, being rough with them, letting them sit in their food. No, but I'm good at giving. Used to be a server, made so much money, hundreds of dollars a day working at IHOP just because I'm good at taking care of people. So I want to be of service. I believe in your life, you either are of service or you're self-serving. Excuse me. And I want to be self-serving because it's easy to be that. It's easy to be bad. It's easy to be a hoe. It's easy to be naughty. It's easy to be rude. It's hard to develop yourself. It's hard to stop being an addict. It's hard to stop being negative. It's hard to lose weight. It's hard to stop doing things that are self-sabotaging. But I believe like in order to heal yourself, you got to help other people. And so I really spent this week. I may not have read my books, but I really did set up the next season of my life. I established my goals, exactly what I want for my career, as far as me writing, as far as my music, as far as my nonprofit that I'd like to start within the next 2 years, establishing what do you really want? What are your long term goals for a home? Like, because we need to get creative with this because, honey, homes come with land tax, having to pay for all of your utilities now because we don't pay for water, but that's actually a really big deal. I want something that is sustainable. I can't not think about the future. Do y'all watch Sky's Life? Sky's World? Sky's Life. It's been both. She's got 6 kids and she's in a hotel right now. She just lost her Section 8 voucher, and I don't know how she's going to get out this situation. And it is stressing me out. Okay, it's stressing me out watching her go through that because I've been through it. And when you look at the details, you're like, oh, I'm just going to pay for another room, pay for another room. No, 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 no. You don't understand. These landlords are not playing. They want 2 to 3 times the amount of the rent. Okay, then they want a reference from the last 5 years of renting. Okay, then they want at the very least a credit score of 650. How is she going to get out the situation? I can't do it. All I do is concern myself with our future and how we're not just going to grow but sustain. Getting a house and having goals of having a house and having land, that's real cute, but when you get down to the details, like knowing that you have to find out if you're in a high flood area. There's insurances that you have to buy. You may not have access to the freaking roads that are near your house. Okay. You might get caught up in eminent domain and have your land snatched. There's so many parts to advancing that people don't pay attention to. And I watch so many other content creators get all of this money and they're doing all of these hauls. Baby, the only haul you see me do is to the dollar store, and it's not a haul. It's usually me going there to get one thing. I barely leave my house because all I'm thinking about is our future. I've watched so many people fumble the bag and it's wild to me. I'm like, y'all not concerned, y'all not worried. I lose sleep at night. Concerned about the future of my family. I made all my kids take financial literacy classes. My son is 20 years old and has a 720 credit score. I put him on my credit cards when he was 16 years old. I didn't even know to do that. I had to take a financial literacy class to do that. I don't understand why everybody is going to Target doing shopping hauls every week, blowing two, three, four, five, six, $7,000 a month like it's a joke. It's not a joke, yo. Because if YouTube decides to stop paying everybody, what are they going to do? I'd be more worried about these people than they be worried about themselves. Because I see myself in them because I used to be there. I used to mindlessly blow $100 at the dollar store. I don't do that. Every penny is accounted for. Like, I see our future when I get my money. Okay. And I spend so much time learning how to recycle what I have and make do with what I have and to keep the future in mind because everything is not promised. Sometimes what you need won't be there. And I like to save for a rainy day because you never know what's going to happen. That's why some things, like having renter's insurance, that is that gets paid every month. We have $20,000 worth of renter's insurance, covers a fire, all of that. I believe everything except flood, and it's 846 a month. Because let me tell you what, if we have a fire and lose everything, nobody's coming to save us. And that's what I'm saying about these single moms or these YouTube channels that's making all of this money who may look at me and might want to make fun of me because I'm kind of raw. Like I'm not like y'all. I'm not brand name fresh this and all of that, girl. I be wearing the same stuff. I stay in the house. I what makes me happy is like baking and like bleach and dawn. That's what makes me happy. Learning new facts. I'm not hip and cool and all of that. But what I am doing is learning about wealth and learning about investments. Because like what it's about sustainability. Because I'm like, what am I gonna do when I get monetized with my money? Real estate. I wanted to do real estate, vending machines, or a laundromat. Okay, cool. So let's really break that down. Vending machines, where are you going to pull them? How are you going to deal with security? Is it going to be in a mall? You got to pay for that. Is it going to be on the street? What are you going to do when somebody breaks into it? Okay, fine. Real estate. I've heard nothing but horror stories about people with Airbnbs who had people just leaving all manner of mess, poop and blood and animals and just having crazy parties. And I see what my landlord goes through with her tenants, and it's just like crazy. And so what? A food truck? It's like I'm thinking about the future. I'm learning now before I get the money. I'm learning how to be frugal now. I'm learning how to be humble now so that when I get money, I don't mess up the bag. Like this is crazy to me. I'm watching people make $10,000 a month and blow it at Target. Don't have stock in Target the first. And it really blows my mind. All these people who keep getting pregnant, like this is not the season to do that. For me, especially the ones who have been through so much trauma, it bothers me that I see people just jumping from relationship to relationship and not working on themselves. And this is coming from a place of love with no judgment, but like it's disturbing to me because I see myself in these women. I see myself in every woman. Just like I see beauty in every woman, I see myself in every woman. And it's like that could be me. It's not, thank God, but like it could be. And it scares me. It scares me for them. And I don't understand it because my mind, the way my mind is wired, I wouldn't be able to just be chilling on live when I'm sitting there basically with no plan. Like all I do is plan and pray, plan and pray and clean and rap and sing and work out and read and watch YouTube and work out and clean and cook and make YouTube videos and make music and work out and cook and clean and plan and worry a little bit and then recoup. And I go through these cycles. Like I can't play around with this mental health stuff. Like it's not a joke. It's not funny. It's not funny to set up your camera and crash out. I know myself. You know how when you leave the house, people will be like, "All right, be careful." With me, you need to be worried about everybody else. I will click off. I'm not one of them. Like I have to be in a controlled environment. I get overstimulated. I think everybody trying to kill me. You look at me too long or get too close, it's going to be a problem. So I stay in the house. I know what it is. Trauma is caught in my body. I have been kidnapped. I have been abused mentally, physically, sexually. Like I've been through so much and not taking the time to process it. The things that I've witnessed are unreal. And, you know, there's so many people walking around on this earth who have been through really traumatic things and they don't express it. And that's why I am always trying to encourage people to find a way to express themselves authentically and not to silence other people's voice. You have to get that out of you, whether it's through a tattoo or whether it's through dancing or rapping or writing or cooking, gardening, whatever, whatever. You have to get that out of you because we walking around with a lot of poison in us and we don't want to poison other people because we didn't take the time to do the work. And then we raise on our kids either pushing them away from us because we don't know how to accept love because we're so traumatized, or we just abuse them because we're so angry. And I just got tired of being a piece of shit. I don't know how to say that. Hi, Firma. I don't know how to say that either. Hello. Hello, staying off the grid. And February sun. Oh, I love you too, Roger. That's my son. He loves to try to come in my chat. So yeah, oh my god, about the turtle. So anyway, when he was done eating his tomatoes, I planted them and I germinated them. So now I have 5 little tomato plants. So I did spend the week figuring out where I was going to go with my channel, new recipes that I was going to get into because I've now that I've done my waffles, I perfected them. I perfected my vegan brownies. So now this month, meaning next month, September, we're going to do vegan cookies. We're going to do chocolate chip. So we're going to perfect that recipe all through the month and then shoot the video. And then October, we're doing vegan pie crust because it is pie season, baby. And I'm vegan, but my kids eat meat. And I hadn't gotten meat for the longest time because I was so concerned about the additives and all of this stuff. But the point is, like, we can only do what we can do. And my kids are strapping, growing meat eaters. They need meat. They're not vegan. So I've started carefully buying them meat. We're gonna pray over it and keep it moving and try our best. So I'm gonna start doing stuff for them, and so we'll shoot that. So we'll be starting a new season of Fury World at the end of August or the beginning of November because my birthday is in November. So I feel like logically that would be a good time to start the new season because I really do the most on Scorpio season. Like, girl, you're doing too much. But I'm looking forward to Virgo season because, like I said, I was feeling very uninspired for a while there. Oh Lord, hold on now. I was feeling very uninspired for about a month. And sometimes when I'm in a funk, I feel like that's my whole life. It's not. It's just a season. And that's what I got out of the book. Ooh, let me unplug this before it overheats. That's what I got from my book. Where is it? The Universal Law book, to remember that everything happens in cycles and seasons. So I don't need to get too caught up in what's going on because I understand that the season will change and it won't always be like this. When I'm down, it won't always be like that. I need to look at what I can learn out of the situation. My phone is getting so hot. So that's what I've been trying to do and get out of this victim mentality of freaking out every time something bad happens or something unexpected happens and just looking to see what lesson I can get out of it and understand that if something isn't working out right now, it will work itself out and just being more faith based. I'm really glad that I saw that video. I don't want to call him a rabbi. I think he is a rabbi. I don't want to keep calling him that Jewish guy, but I'm really glad that I saw that because I like learning stories about people who are like super devout. I really like that. Super faithful. No matter what happens, they are just hardwired and trained from birth to be God centered and just always revert back to if this doesn't go my way, it's not meant to be. Something better is meant for me. Bars, unintentional bars. And it's not easy. It's honestly not easy. I am actually a grandma, which is crazy. My son Leviathan has a daughter. Her name is Mazikeen. She's mixed as well. He's mixed too, but she's mixed and she has blue eyes, which is crazy. She looks like my son, who looks like my youngest daughter, who is very light skinned and has very curly hair, dark hair. But that girl has light skin and blue eyes. It's the craziest thing. She looked just like my light skinned kids because half my kids are, they're all mixed, but half of them are darker skinned and some of them are lighter skinned. And it's the blue eye thing that's blowing my mind. That's crazy. She looks like something different. But that's what I did. I spent this week really figuring out where I'm going moving forward because I had to come up with a plan. I couldn't keep just going about my routine every single day. I needed more. And I really didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to get from being in a very low place, a very sad place where I was just feeling like I wasn't enough. I wasn't further along enough. Didn't have enough money, didn't have enough prestige, didn't have enough accomplishments. Looking at what I thought other people wanted me to be instead of looking at what I actually wanted because I didn't even know. I was just doing things that I thought were expected of me instead of what actually made me happy because I didn't think I deserved to do what made me happy. I thought I only had to completely be of service and be at the beck and call of my family to atone for my sins in the past and not being there and every time I looked at my kids for a very long time, all I could see was the pain that they had gone through. And it was very frustrating. And I felt like I tried to overcompensate by overextending myself, which then burned me out and then had me having animosity towards them and had to work through all of that. So it's been years of working through a lot of stuff with these kids. But after taking some time to figure out what the hell I was going to do with my life and what role I was supposed to play in these kids' lives, I realized that I'm supposed to continue developing myself and always just be there for them because they're always going to need me. I'm their mom. They just need me in a different capacity. And I understand now the importance of processing my emotions. And I understand now that when something happens, when I get a letter with unexpected news, when I get a phone call with a blow to my schedule, it's just life and everything is fine. The world is not falling apart because in my brain, any type of change means the world is falling apart. We're all going to die. And that's not reality. So, taking this time in this past month, I really started to understand the seriousness of prioritizing my mental health and managing it, and understanding that you don't get the luxury of just not praying and not following your routines and not limiting your media and allowing yourself to be overstimulated and eating at the wrong times and not using intermittent fasting and not getting up and doing your stretches every day, working out every day. You don't get the luxury of not doing that because when you don't do those things, you're not balanced and you're not a good mom and you're not a good person and you're not taking care of what you're supposed to take care of spiritually, and you're stunting your growth and you're just wasting your own time. Time is my highest commodity. I feel so free now that I can do what I want with my time. But now I'm starting to feel the burden of the responsibility because I do have that time. I have to utilize it and not waste it. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have downtime, but that means that you need to have a balance. Watch a little YouTube, do something constructive, work on your project. I have this timer that I got from Amazon and I put it on 20 minutes. And I do things that I usually try to avoid. Pick up your book, just read for 20 minutes. Go do your workout, just 20 minutes. And I find that after a few minutes, I don't even realize that the timer is on and I'm engrossed in that same activity that I did not want to participate in before. I'm having to take responsibility for not showing up for myself. If you know you want to read more, you know you want to work out more, you know you got projects that need to be taken care of, then you have to do it. Because I really couldn't understand why I was running away from doing the things that made me happy and could actually change my life. I don't know why. This self-sabotage and bullshit, laziness, sadness, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You know you're doing it, and whatever can be measured can be improved. So just change it. You see something needs to be changed, you have to change it because no one's going to change it for me. And that's why I'm so serious about my finances. I'm so serious about my mental health because if I kirk out here and I get locked up, there's nobody taking care of my kids and there's nobody that's going to bail me out. Like, it's over with. That's over. You catch a case out here because you've lost your shit and you are not developed emotionally and you're not balanced and you really kirk out, you're going to jail. Nobody's going to tolerate you having a manic episode outside just because you are not mentally stable. Don't nobody care. You're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about your mental health when you're not paying your bills because you locked up, because you lost your temper, because you didn't want to do the work day to day to maintain yourself because you didn't take your mental health seriously. Like, it is serious. Your relationship with spirit, like, it is serious. It's connected to my mental health because the reason I didn't freak out when I got that letter about my food stamps was based in faith, not logic. I used logic because I calculated the probability of it me being wrong because I hadn't changed anything, so it couldn't have been me or them being wrong. And I'm like, the odds are y'all made a mistake. And I was right because I used my common freaking sense and logic. But it was my faith that got me through that and caused me not to freak out like I usually would. The logic part, the part that I learned from therapy, was the coping skills and to be able to not allow my trigger to rule my mind. Because any type of change, my mind will go into panic mode, and then here go my nervous system freaking out. Now we're having an anxiety attack that kicks off the asthma. Now we're in a manic episode. Can't allow that to happen. But I had to have the space to observe myself to know these things so that I could fix it. Because to me, I'm still in recovery. Like, the whole reason I got into recovery was because in January of 2019, somebody poisoned me. They poisoned me. So I'm like dying and I'm in the ER and they question you, they ask you a bunch of stuff. And along the way, they came to the conclusion that I was suicidal. So they put me in the psych ward, found out I had a drug addiction, asked me if I wanted to go to rehab. And I went. 9 months later, everything I lost, I got back. I left rehab. The day I left rehab, I got all six of my kids back and divorced my ex-husband. Then he died of an overdose a year later. Three of the kids moved out. I still have three, and we're moving forward on this journey and figuring it all out. And I have my own label. I make music. Masters of Fate Music is my label. I make my own music. I'm a writer and I make YouTube videos. This is what I do. I know a lot about restoring your family after you've lost it. I've read so many books, gone to so many seminars, I've gone through so many programs. I did every single thing that I could to make sure that I was prepared to be a good mom for them because family means a lot to me. I was adopted when I was 6 months old, and then they tried to give me right on back after their marriage fell apart. I don't know who my parents are. I don't even know if my adoption was legal, honestly, because there's like no paperwork, no trail, no nothing. It's such bullcrap. And my life has really basically been a long, difficult struggle that I made it through. And I didn't just make it through it, I have the ability to express it artistically, and that helps other people. And that's what I feel driven to do. So I have to pull myself out of my own sadness to help someone else. That's the only thing that moved me forward. In rehab, they tried to tell us you shouldn't be in rehab for anybody but yourself. But no, I was in rehab to get my kids back. That's it. Because if it was just for me, I'd have just gone ahead and laid down and died. I'd have done what Ghost did. That's my ex-husband. I'd have just allowed myself to die. I It wasn't enough to do it for myself. It takes love. And that's why I know that God is love. The highest frequency is God. Because that's the only thing that makes you move forward. That's the only thing that drives you. Whether it's a love for yourself or a love for your family or love for life or love for God, anything, that's what moves you forward. And so that's what drives me every day. Because otherwise I wouldn't care, yo. I don't care. I don't care about nothing. All I care about is developing my kids, building a legacy that they will be proud of, and keeping my house clean. I don't give a damn about nothing else. Being cool, being up to date with the slang and the fashionable clothes and stuff like that. Like, I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that's like, I do try to work on getting rid of my stomach. I got a little stomach, and my husband and I had six kids. And that's something I want to do for myself because I want to be extremely, like, very healthy. Like, I have an idea of how I want myself to look, and I'm accomplishing those things for myself. But I have to like step away from the world because I get caught up in the way that other people live and how they project onto others how they should live. And I don't want that because I know how I want to live in the middle of nowhere, away from everybody, barefoot in the woods, growing plants and animals, and communing with my ancestors and spirit and nature. That's it. Like, my whole life, I was always called a weirdo because I was playing in dirt and playing with rocks and stones and feathers and shit. And it's like, I didn't know that other people couldn't hear trees or grass or whispers in the wind like freaking Pocahontas. I thought everybody could do that. So, of course, when I start talking about it, now I'm labeled as crazy. And I'm looking at them like they crazy. They looking at me. I'm looking at them, and I'm like, you don't hear that? You don't see that? They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't have any guidance. So imagine my surprise when I grew up and found out that there was a whole spiritual community, a bunch of people like Native Americans who commune with nature. Like, there are other cultures who are not taught that nature and God are separate from themselves. I have a book that I need to finish, actually, Braiding Sweetgrass. One of my subscribers recommended it to me. Thank you. I appreciate it. And she talks about that. They don't see themselves as separate from the clouds or the air or any of the elements. And that's a beautiful notion. That's why I love learning about other people's cultures and perspectives on life, because I take what I feel like I can benefit from and I leave the rest. Even from like the dregs of society, people you would look at and just be like, ugh, they're so beneath me. I can still see beauty in them and I can still learn from them. And I love people's stories so much because I like to learn. I want to be well rounded. And in order to do that and to build yourself into a non judgmental person, you have to be able to connect with people, and able to do that you have to hear their story because you end up seeing how similar people are. Some people see the world as how different people are, but like I am more inclined to see similarities between people. And it makes me feel connected. Because at this point in my life, it doesn't feel good when I judge other people. I don't like that. Now I try to see the lesson in it. And I feel like that's the less selfish way to live life. I really just, as a person, got tired of when bad things happen, me being like, oh my God, oh my God, my life is so horrible. Oh my God, this change happened. Now I can't have this or that. Like I started to feel like a child spiritually. Now I look at it like, what can I learn from this? Or what part did I play in it? Now, what can I control that may affect this situation in a positive way? And then I give it to God because I'm like, if I'm experiencing this, then this is part of my journey and I'm supposed to learn something from it. Like, I'm really trying to develop myself as a higher being coming from a higher mind. Like, I really try to counsel myself out of my density, my lower level vibration where I'm talking shit and being scared and being ignorant and being rude and being fearful, being disrespectful to God, and develop myself into a higher level being so I can stop being reincarnated here. Like, I'm tired of being a dense, lame ass human, just a basic ass human. Like, it's so easy to be low frequency. Like, anybody can do that. And I just want to be better. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, honestly. So that's what I've been doing. I've been having a lot of fun growing these plants. It's really fun because it reminds me of myself. My son had this plant, it was like dead, and it only had one leaf, and now it's got like 30 leaves on it. Hold up. Do you see that? That had one leaf on it. See how much it's grown? And that is why I love plants because I see the hope and the potential in it. And I see that in myself too. Just like my mural. Oh my gosh, hold on. So, like, I work on it a little bit at a time, you know? And I just slowly add things. And it's about progression for me. And that's all I want is progression. That's all I need to see is my progress. And I'm going to get there. So, moving forward, Virgo season showing up. I'm looking forward to the more refined version of myself, the more grown up version of myself, where I'm not wasting time. I'm investing it in myself. This November, I'm going to be 43. I can't even remember my own damn age. I'm going to be 43 years old. So I've kind of written like a business plan for my life for what I want. And I'm going with the flow in the sense that when life throws me curveballs, I don't freak out and I accept what I'm being shown and I control what I can control. But don't freak out. Stay calm, stay focused. I've gotten that. Now all I need to do is consistently show up and work on the things that I've been trying to avoid. And this is the season for that. Because at a certain point you just get tired. It's just like addiction. You cannot convince someone to stop using drugs if they're not ready to stop using drugs. It doesn't matter what you say, how many times you cry, what you threaten them with. It doesn't matter. That person has to be tired of being a piece of shit for them to stop. And it's the same thing as developing yourself. When you get tired of working for somebody else and not having the what is it called, confidence, the confidence to follow your own passions when you stay in a relationship that's not good for you because you don't think that you deserve better, when you don't tell people how you really feel because you don't feel like you'll be heard. At a certain point, as a human, as a person being in your being, you just can't sit with that anymore, and it drives you to change. And so I'm in the season of blah. I'm in the season of molding myself into the person that I actually want to be because I'm the only person that can do it. And it's easier said than done, but I'm up for the challenge because I think I've had enough of this version of me. Now I'm looking forward to the new version of me. So, Virgo season, get to it. Working, being more consistent, pushing myself. The daily routines, that's cute and all. We got that down. House is clean, bills are paid, kids are good. What are you doing with your goals? Are you working on your music? Are you working on your book? Are you working on your body? Are you working on the garden? We can't just keep going through life on autopilot. Taking care of the kids is just part of our role. Being moms, our jobs, our careers, our friendships, our personal relationships, that's just a part of who we are. It's not enough. It's not enough. We all have these secret goals that we don't talk to anybody about because we feel like it's so unattainable. It's not. You have to make spaces in your life to do the things that make you happy. At a certain point, you just get tired of not feeling fulfilled. There's no TV show, no drug, no sex partner, no meal that's going to fill that empty void in you. That's only going to be fulfilled by you doing what you actually want to do with your life. So I have to take responsibility for that. And honestly, being grown looks good on me. I want to be reliable. I want to not always have to go through having anxiety attacks and feeling like I'm having a freaking heart attack every time I experience a change. Like it's overwhelming. I get tired of it. I not so much stoic because I actually do want to, have some type of happiness. Maybe stoicism is going a little bit too far with it, but I at least want to be a solid rock and not have to go through so many fluctuations every time I experience a change. I may not be able to think my way out of being bipolar, but I can reason with myself to be more logical and not so emotion based or emotional, not be so emotional, basically. I can't stand that. I can't stand when somebody's like, you're being emotional, especially if you're just expressing yourself. But the communication with the kids have been really good. I have been actively listening. That's something we've worked on for months, and I'm really proud of that. We've been not cutting each other off. We've been respecting each other's boundaries. Everybody's been keeping their room clean. I haven't been yelling at them, but I've been taking on a couple. I've been adding more chores on to my list. Like I usually do my walls once a month, but I've been doing them every single day now for some reason. And I feel like the house has smelled a lot fresher. So that's something new I've been doing. And just like getting to the parts of like I feel like I'm about to repaint my apartment. Just because I want a fresh coat. Like how you have the little chips here and there. It's a new season. I just want to feel abundant and nice and fresh. Like I feel so elegant when everything is just so perfectly clean. I love it. House smelling like bleach and sage and I love it. 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 I love to burn sage. I used to buy Febreze, but it just it doesn't cover the poop smell in the bathroom. It just makes it smell like fruity poop. But when you use smoke, smoke will get out the stink. So instead of spraying Febreze and messing up the ozone layer and making your house smell like cherry covered shit, I use sage and burn. And you don't even need that much. And there's just like a little place in there you burn the sage and it take the stink out. And it makes the whole house smell fresh. And another thing I do is I take peppermint essential oil and mix it with a little bit of alcohol and water and shake it up and put it in a spray bottle, spray it all through the house. It's a deterrent for bugs and it raises the vibration. Peppermint is good for alleviating anxiety, calming the nervous system. I like to use aromatherapy like essential oils and diffusers and all natural, non toxic incense made from ground up flowers and stuff like that to lift the vibration in my house. Like I told you, I run my house and my life like a recovery center because I'm still in recovery. We still over here processing childhood trauma, okay? It's very real up in here. I know what it is. And sometimes I feel like I'm a prisoner in my own home and in my own head, but I'm here willingly. Because if I do the work now, the rest of my life is going to be cake. If I put in the work now to study, to build my businesses, develop my education, develop my mind, my perspective, learn how to manage money, how to invest it, learn how to manage my emotions and become completely independent. Learn more about the spaces that I want to occupy before I get there so that I don't fumble along the way. I'm using all these other people that I'm watching on YouTube as cautionary tales. Okay. I watch because I don't want to make the same mistakes that everybody else does. And I don't plan to. And that's why I say you can learn from anybody, whether you like them or not, it doesn't matter. You can learn a very valuable lesson because I'm not going to be caught slipping. I'm not going to do what I've seen everybody else do. Jump into relationships too soon, keep having babies, not be concerned about your credit, not save, not invest. I'm not going to keep repeating what I've seen pretty much everybody that I've come across in life do. I have a much bigger plan. And I feel like it all starts with not valuing yourself because why would you plan to have a grand life if you don't even value yourself enough? So I know that I'm full of potential, but I also know that it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to get where I want to go. But I've got a lot of work to do and a lot of studying. And this is the season for it. I love this time of year, fall, going into winter. I love it. It's so perfect for me. I love autumn. I love the smell of it. Oh my God. The leaves when they turn orange. It's so romantic. It's great writing weather. This is the perfect season to write. And this is the life that I always wanted. I always imagined as a child, drinking my latte and having a sweater and snuggling up to my typewriter and looking at the trees out the window and being inspired by the sky and writing my deepest thoughts. And having an impactful life is all that matters to me. If anything that I say or do helps somebody else, then it was worth me going through it. It was worth it because the things that I've been through, I've seen it kill other people. A lot of people that I used to know, good people from all walks of life, they're dead because just life, life got to them and they couldn't handle it. And I'm so blessed to have made it through everything that I went through and survived. And I need to share that story. I owe God that. I feel like I got saved from hell more than once. So I'm built to do hard things. I can take it. And plus, the more obstacles I go through and come out, I'm stronger. And the more that people like try to attack me or tear me down or deter me, it's almost like you get karmic credit or something. And I was feeling sorry for people. You ever notice how like when you're very, very close to God, when people do bad things to you, even have a bad thought about you, weird things happen to them. Have you ever noticed that? And I be feeling sorry for people because I'm like, yo, you don't even know who you messing with. Honestly, like you don't even know what's about to happen to you. I feel so bad for people when they try to like do bad things to me or my family. I feel so bad for them because whatever it is that protects us really does not play about anybody in my bloodline. And like I'm talking about people be dropping like flies, boy. I feel bad. And for a while there, I didn't know whether I was supposed to pray for like my enemies or people who feel like they my enemies, whatever. Because I used to, right? And then I stopped because I was like, well, I'm just gonna stop wasting my energy on them. And then I heard a Nas song, and he was like, I pray we all get prayed for. I pray we all get prayed for. And I was like, damn, yo, thank you, Spirit, for answering my question. So I went back to just praying for everybody. And I really do. And I like as far as Sky, yo, like I've been praying for her every night in their family. Like I don't know how she's gonna get out the situation. If I was her, I would go to a shelter. Now in Maryland, the shelters for males over 18, even if you're a part of a family, are separate from the females. So she could go to a shelter with her kids and then they could help her get into a housing program. And then that way she wouldn't have to spend all of her money on the hotels because like, where are you going to get your deposit from? These landlords are going to want at least double the deposit. And especially so she doesn't have a good reference, like she going to have to drum up a fake rental history because of her bad relationship with her landlord. Like there's a lot of steps and there's a lot of stuff. And going to a shelter, they can help her with that. And like that's what I would do if I was in her situation. I would just go and tell her significant other to go to a shelter with his son, or take, let someone else watch the son and he go to a shelter and work and save money, and then she go to the shelter with the kids. The only thing about the shelters in my state is most of them during the day you have to leave, and it doesn't matter. Except I don't think they do that on the weekends, but during the week you definitely have to be gone during the day. And it was hard on people, especially about in wintertime, or people who had really small babies. But I guess they felt like if you're homeless, you should be spending the day being productive. But it's really hard for people with kids. But that's what I would do. So anyway, I've been praying for her. I've been praying for a lot of people. I've been praying for people who even meant me harm, because it's like I feel bad. I feel bad for them. I see so many people getting their karma. The people like my peers whose lives are falling apart, the people who made fun of me, told me I wasn't nothing, stole from me, lied about me to my husband, like they're all doing really, really bad right now. And I feel so bad about it. And it's like nothing I can do about it. But then it's like you look at people and you see you didn't just get here overnight. This was a series of bad decisions that led you to this point. And that's why when things don't go my way, I don't trip too hard, because I know that the decisions that I make on a daily basis are going to align me with a prosperous, abundant future. You get what you give out, low key, respectfully and with love. And it's sad. It's hard to see, because I feel like it energetically, it's like this now. You go on this side or you on this side. And I feel bad for people. I really do. So now I just pray for everybody. Because why not? I pray for the world. I pray for women. I pray for Gaia. I pray for the earth. I pray for the water spirits, all the marine animals, all of that, because I feel kin to them. You know what I'm saying? I especially pray for women, and especially single moms and like children, because I feel like they're so innocent and need to be protected. I pray for this world, because I do honestly, like, I feel the weight of other people's burdens. Like, I spend so much time managing my anxiety, honestly. And it's not just like a worry, it's just like a worry mixed, not, it's not even worry. I'm not worried. It's not a worriness. It's just like a sadness, because things could be so much better. And people don't have to suffer the way that they do. And it really makes me sad. It makes me sad how mean people are to each other. It makes me sad how much people are suffering. It makes me sad that we're in this system. But I also have seen a bright future. And I feel like I have a pretty good understanding. I don't understand shit, but I have a pretty good understanding about how things work, and I understand that everything will always be balanced and justice will be had, universal law, all of that. But while we're in it and it's bad. But there's also good here. But it's hard to be here. It's hard to be human. It's hard to survive. It's hard to deal with bills, and then you got kids, and then you got your own personal stuff. It's very challenging. So that's why it's just I try just to be kinder. I don't want to be a monster. I don't want to be aggressive. I want to add kindness to this world, because it's just so freaking hard to be here. It's very hard to be here. So it's like, why make it even worse? I don't know. Brown Ghost TRC. What do I think about the afterlife? Honestly, I feel like we can get reincarnated here or somewhere else. And I've been learning about like the reincarnation loop, which is why I'm so concerned with the state of my soul, because I don't want to be reincarnated here. I believe that life itself, we're on a journey to elevate our souls, and that we are just expressions of God, meaning the highest frequency that just wants to experience. Life is life, the universe, nature, God, it's all the same thing. Like, I get people want to personify God like it's a human being, but it's not. It's really just a frequency. There's this Asian guy, and I said it respectfully, I'm sorry. He took our DNA strands and found out that they're like musical notes. So it's like when you understand that everything is energy and frequency, we are all like this song, you know? We're just energy. Everything is energy. And when you simplify it and strip it down to that, there's a lot less worry there. You do what you want to do. I read, now, I was raised to believe that you were judged by God. But what I read in the Universal Law book is that God doesn't judge you. God waits for you to learn your lesson. The universe doesn't punish you. You are dealt consequences. You are here to learn and evolve your soul. Like how I don't know when people started calling Jesus God from my studying, Jesus was an ascended master, and like he's not the only ascended master throughout like history. And that in the Bible, the oldest books in the Bible of reoccurring stories like about the flood and all that other stuff are actually from much older ancient texts like Sumerian texts, and that is a true history of the world, and that what's being called God in that Bible were actually extraterrestrials that were higher level beings that were just spitting knowledge to people. And then politicians ended up compiling about a lot of and like miscompiling information to control people and tax people and get them to bring tithings to the church and all that. Like in church and state all got combined in the banking system, and now we're under the system of control. And the 1% that rules the world is like this Martian bloodline from the extraterrestrial line that feeds off of our negativity, and that's why we are stuck in the military industrial complex matrix and all of that. So basically, what I think about the afterlife is that there's a million and one potential places that you can go. But if you're intentional with your life, I feel like you have a little bit more control out of it. I really honestly believe that we're just here to develop our souls. Like, I thought I wanted to be an ascended master, but I don't know that I want that much responsibility because, baby, I ain't hanging on no crosses for nobody. I don't want to do nothing. Like, I want to help my ancestors. I want to be a light being. I don't want to be a human again, you know. But it's like everybody here to play a role. Not everybody. Like I never got the whole wanting to be saved and wanting to save people. Not wanting to be saved, but wanting to save people. Like, listen, not everybody wants to be saved. Just like not everybody wants to be off the drugs. Some people want to be demonic. They want to be aggressive. They want to be bad. That's the role they're here to play. And it's not our role to judge them because without dark, there is no light. Like there's always going to be lower frequencies. When you start to look at things as energy and not take things so personally, you start to understand that things are just nature. You got some lions that go into a pride and kill all of the babies that aren't his. You got some lions that don't. It's just like people. Nature is nature. You gotta stop taking things so personally and blaming God for everything. God is just a frequency. Like, you got to take some type of accountability for what you do with the energy you've been given. Yes, it's hard here, it's dense here. Humans are the densest beings in this galaxy. It's taken us so long to evolve because we keep getting tricked out of our position, forgetting that we are superhuman. Our DNA carries all the information that ever was, just like the freaking Akashic records. That's why when you meditate, you can figure out anything because genetically you have all the information inside of you, as so above, as so below. And every little religion and every culture has a piece of the whole truth. It's scattered. And that's why it's important to just be open to learning and collecting information and taking what applies and making like this whole book of what is real. And that's what you do. You study true human history, you study all the religions, and you start to piece together a timeline and figure it out yourself. That's why my kids are homeschooled. We talk about this stuff all the time because that's all that actually matters. You know, I'm just not cool anymore with going into a grocery store and buying my food out of a bag, getting a headache going to CVS buying a pill. I'm not cool with that. I don't want to be governed. I don't want to be taught. I want to learn what I'm interested in, teach my kids what they're interested in, close the colleges, bring back trade schools, let people do what they're meant to do, let people serve their whole purpose. No wonder the crime rate is so high and everybody has the time to be racist and sexist and aggressive and criminal because their basic needs are not being met. Okay? Is that Maslow's law? I don't remember. Whatever. It really doesn't matter. When you're serving your life's purpose, you are not looking to be fulfilled in other places. When you are able to love yourself and accept love, you're happy. When you're not forced to be in a box for 12 hours a day, being indoctrinated or forced to do things just so that you can survive, you're not miserable. You know, like I feel like people are always focused on the wrong stuff. But I ain't here to convince nobody of shit. I'm convinced here to have I'm here to, you know what I'm saying, convince myself that I'm worth more than what I've been given by the people that swore that they loved me and betrayed me. I'm here to get closer to myself and find out who I really am and see how far I can go with this opportunity to make something out of myself and out of the time that I've been given. Because at the end of the day, you ain't gonna be here forever. So fuck it. Like at the end of the day, everything that I ever feared already happened. All the monsters are real. Everything that I thought was happening behind my back was. Everything I was afraid to lose, I already lost. You know, and it's like now it's like fuck it. We might as well go balls to the wall and find out how far we can go. And I am supported by the universe. I'm still here. At the end of the day, no matter what I was going through in my life, I still ate. I still had clothes. I'm still alive. I got on my limbs and I'm still here. There's a reason for that. Like, I have to be grateful. Things aren't always what they seem. And things certainly always aren't as bad as they seem. Everything is a test. And that's what I had to remind myself. And that was in the Universal Law book too. And that made me feel really good, knowing I think it's the law of relativity. Everybody is constantly being tested to see if you are approved. Like, are you worthy of having the things that you asked for? That's why I just stopped asking for stuff. I just say thank you for what I have and try to do more so that I can get more and so I can be ready for it when I get it. Because I used to pray and pray and pray for a house until I realized, girl, you are not ready for a house. You need to clean it 24 hours a day in a 3 bedroom apartment. Yeah, 3 bedroom apartment, girl. But the goal, oh yeah, and that's another thing that I like. I'm gonna call him a rabbi because I guess he's a rabbi. He had heavy rabbi vibes. He said that they're always willing to invest in each other and they invest in their community, they reinvest into each other, and that they teach their children to dream big. And I love them for that because I feel like in a lot of cultures, your dreams are ripped out of you. I remember when I told, and I've said this so many times, when I told my adoptive mom when I was younger that I was gonna grow up and save the world and be rich and buy her a house, she laughed in my face. But girl, I'm still finna do that. Like I couldn't see me doing that to my child. I encourage them. I encourage them. And I've found that that's really all they need from me. Other than providing their basic needs, all they really need is a listening ear and support when they're feeling down. I'm here to remind them of how great they are and how great God is and how great of an opportunity they have to build all of their dreams and all of their goals. So I make sure that I don't feed negativity into my kids or into myself because it's easy to do that. People do that to us all the time. Everybody loves to project negativity onto others. Let them play their role. It's training. Don't trip. When somebody's mean to you, try to bully you, negative to you, talk about you, girl, that's training. Let them be what they are, yo. A troll gonna be a troll. You know, a worm gonna be a worm. You can't lower yourself. You have to move past that. If you want to be great, and I do, I want to be great. I don't want to go down to somebody else's level. I've already been low. I've been the lowest of the low. I don't want to be there no more. And plus, it's too easy. I like a challenge. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that my peppers sprout this week. I've never done peppers. And then I've got some cucumbers too. But I need some 5-inch pots. Did it say 5 inch? I don't know. Hold on. Maybe like this. So I've got this old trash can that doesn't have a top. It's a kitchen trash can. It's a 30-gallon trash can. So I have this idea. For my tomato plants, this big enough. I've got 6 of them right now. They're this big. I believe once they get to be 4 feet, 4 feet, 4 inches, I'm supposed to transplant them then. They're already starting to show some of their true leaves. They're so cute. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get a new kitchen trash can with a top. This one doesn't have a top. So when I get my new trash can, I'm gonna bore some holes with the electric drill in the bottom of my 30-gallon trash can, kitchen trash can, and I'm gonna put the soil in there. I'm starting a compost bin too. I'm so excited about it. I've already started saving my greens. I researched it. 3 parts brown, 1 part greens, and then the soil, and then mix it every week and check the temperature. I'm so excited about it. Um, all you need is a bucket. I think I have a 7 gallon, I don't know, a big ass bucket this big. You're on Amazon. And drill holes in the side and on the bottom to aerate the soil. And then stack it. Browns, greens, soil. And then mix it. Eggshells, greens, and vegetables. I'm so excited to start that compost, man. Put it right down on the balcony. I'm not going to drill holes in the top because if it rains, it'll get too wet and it might mold. So I'm not going to put any holes in the top. So that'll prevent me from having to use a tarp. I'm so excited. Like I cannot wait to have my little farm, yo. Like being so close to Mother Nature is going to be very healing for me because I don't feel like I'm ever going to be in another relationship. I was married to my ex-husband for 20 years. We had 6 kids. He's dead now. It's over. Like it's over for me. Like I don't want to share my life with anybody. Honestly, I love being able to run my house. I don't want to be submissive. I don't want to be beholden. I don't want to explain myself. I don't want to share my space. I want to fart in the middle of the night and not be embarrassed. Like I just want to connect with God and nature and my kids and be a grandma. That's pretty much it. I have to heal myself from everything I've been through with this man. I feel like I feel the weight of the sadness and loss of every woman in my bloodline. Low key, every woman in the world. And that's why I get so sad when I see these moms online that are going through what they're going through. Like, I feel sad. I feel their sadness. I feel their weight, you know? I'm gonna just keep on praying for them. I don't know. All I can do is work on my stuff. I feel bad though, because I don't even know how some of them are gonna get out that situation. But all praise to the Most High, things will work out. There's always a way out, and that's I've never not had a solution to a situation I've been in. There's always a solution. So at some point you really have to take accountability. And that's what Robert Greene was saying in that mastery book. The chapter that I'm in is really about taking accountability for changing your life and really grabbing yourself by the balls and shaking yourself and being like, handle your business. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. If you have a passion, figure it out. You don't know what your passion is, figure it out. If you have a problem that needs to be fixed, figure it out. If you're not happy, figure it out. It's all about accountability, acceptance, and then discipline. So I feel like it's a good season for discipline. And I got tired of struggling. I'm like, I'm not here to struggle, and I don't have to struggle. I had to learn about resistance, and that's what I learned about studying the Buddhist and not having resistance, and also not giving into cravings. Like not always, oh, now I'm hungry. Okay, I've eaten. Okay, now I want to take a shower. Okay, well, now I want to smoke. Okay, well, now I want to have sex. Okay, well, now I need something. Now I need something to satiate, right? But just being okay with being with what you have, where you are in this moment right now, not regretting yesterday, worrying about tomorrow, but really being in this moment and just being grateful. And I've been making those spaces. Not quite meditation, but I'm getting there. That's my big thing that I've been avoiding is meditation. And I'm not really sure why I avoid it. I don't know why. But I'm getting there. My kids, they will be on the floor in a crystal grid meditating for hours. I'm the only one in my family who's not doing that spiritual practice. But I have to move on my own time. I've accepted that about myself. It takes me a while to accomplish my goals. It takes me a while to adjust to change. It took me a while to accept that about myself. And now I do. And I'm working with what I have. And that's okay. Girl, I'll be talking myself through life. I don't give a damn. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself. I'm my own best friend. I'm a freaking human being, am I not? I have great advice. I'm a good time. I can talk to myself. The hell. People always got something to say. I don't give a damn what nobody got to say. Especially when they talking shit. Because who is talking shit at your big age? For real. I don't do no talking. Well, I mean, like not talking trash, like because obviously I'll be talking, I've been talking for an hour and a half. I hope y'all had a good week. Don't trip too hard if you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be in your life. It takes time, but eventually you really got to start holding yourself accountable, because in those moments in my mind, I'm like, I could be doing something more productive right now. I could be working on my life task right now. Is what I'm doing getting me anywhere near my goal? And I'm not talking about downtime. We all know what downtime is, but after a certain point, get your ass up and go do what you need to do. I'm figuring it out though. And I appreciate my ancestors. I appreciate my community. I appreciate my kids. I appreciate myself. I've been celebrating my wins. You have to, so that you can gauge your growth. You ever like not acknowledge someone's apology or compliment because all you hear is negative stuff? My ex-husband used to tell me I did that. Now my kids are telling me I did that. I do that. So now I try to make sure that I take in the positive, and the negative is what it is. It's just life. I just don't internalize it. I look at people who are being negative or like trying to tear others down like slow children or autistic children, honestly, because it's giving that. It's giving you are spiritually, what's it called? What's the word? I don't know. It begins with a D though. Delayed? You spiritually delayed, honey. Ain't nobody tripping off that. And I look at everything as training now. And I can do that for God. Because like we ask a lot from God, and I feel like all God asks us for is like respect and growth and goodness. You know what I'm saying? And that don't mean you have to be perfect. Because it's like it's given we live in hell. Who is finna be perfect? But I know I don't want to hurt anybody, and I know I want the best for all of us. And I do what I can to help, because being a member of the community of the human race matters to me. I like to be a benefit to the world, to people, to life. You know, pick up a piece of trash. The hell, help an old lady across the street. The fuck, pay for somebody groceries. You got an EBT card. What is the big deal? Like at some point, I wanted God to be proud of me. That became important to me. How I lived my life became important to me, not how people viewed me. I don't give a damn what these people say about me. I do not care. How many push-ups did you do today? Get on my face. Leave me alone. I don't care. I care about my soul. I care about I care about how my kids view me. I care about gaining their respect. And I want to see how far I can go with this life. It's hard down here, but you're not alone. Reach out and ask for help. There are people here to help you. You're never alone. You got your ancestors, your spirit God, and you got this community. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you spending time here. If you're interested in checking out my music, it's available on all music streaming platforms worldwide under my artist name, The Fury of Abyss. So, goals for next week. I'm not setting any goals for next week because I've already know what it is that I want to do. The goal is to finish the book. So I'm not going to set any other goals than that. I'm trying to integrate a writing space into my daily routine, but I kind of want to go with the flow and just see where it goes for next week. But I've got a lot of videos that I need to shoot. Oh my goodness. I've got like 7 videos that need to be shot. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing that. Mm. I want the reading thing to be more of a leisure than like a forceful, this, I have to get a chapter done, because the priority is getting the book done. I don't want to spend too much time doing things that have nothing to do with the major goals, which is finishing the book. And then after that, getting my behinds in the studio in September, October, which I'm so excited about. And then shooting the lyric video in September, I believe the end of September. Yes. Because he's a Pisces with a Virgo rising. He is so picky about every little thing. He's taking forever with this daggone video, but it's like, what? It don't have to be too much. Like, it don't have to be too much. So I'm already ready to do the next song. It's memorized, all that. I'm really looking forward to working with my producer. I miss him. I love working with him. Um, Shout out to Vocal Inc. And that is it for me for this week. I feel like we're in a good space, but I feel like there's a lot of work to be done. But I feel optimistic about it. I'm looking to round this year out completely with a new sense of purpose in my life because I'm getting older. So I'm just morphing myself into this more evolved, mature version of myself. And I'm really looking forward to it. I thought that getting older was something that you like didn't want to do, but I enjoy the growth. I don't want to be childish and immature and irresponsible. I like paying my bills on time. I like seeing my credit score go up. I like growing my channel. I like learning new information. I like not responding inappropriately when my kids say or do something that triggers me. These are things that I've worked on my entire life that I haven't been able to break. These behavior patterns are so hard to break. These negative mentalities and generational curses, which are unbroken negative behavior patterns, are so hard to break, yo, especially when you have people around you feeding negativity into you, which is why I cut everybody off. It doesn't matter. Like, if we on a sinking ship, you can't always help everybody that's drowning because they're going to pull you down. You have to save yourself. I cut everybody off to save myself and my family because there was no benefit to having those relationships. It was draining me. It was draining my finances. It was draining my energy. It was draining my attention. It was draining everything from me. So I cut everybody off with my kids. Like, what else matters? Once you have kids, what else matters in life? What else matters? I want them to be proud of me. I want everything that I do, like at the end of my life, I want to be able to hand them everything. I want to be able to hand them my faith in God. I want them to be able to hand them my land. I want them to be able to hand them all of my recipes and all of my knowledge and all of my love and hand it off to them and then pass over and just be a more evolved being and just keep going up the evolutionary food chain. Now, it's more out here than just humans. Who the hell want to keep being human? I want to evolve. I want to be, traveling interplanetarily. This world is amazing. And it's a lot more than just Earth. It's a lot more than just humans. I just want to explore and see how far we can go. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I'll see you next week. Peace.